We all wish for a positive future for ourselves, our family, our children, and our community. How about a mindful future that benefits us and the planet? Hi, I'm Anne Marie Emanuele, Creative Director and founder of Mindful Frontiers, an education-based meditation center. Vipassana meditation instruction is my life path, and I believe it's important for families to practice mindfulness together. In this podcast, Welcoming a Mindful Future, I will be sharing easy and accessible mindfulness practices that you can do in your family, no matter the age of your children. Join me and learn how to bring mindfulness meditation into your daily routine. Thanks for being here, and listen up for the next episode. Hello, friends. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Welcoming a Mindful Future. And this episode is to invite the power of the heart through meditation. So this builds resilience and meaningful relationships with others and ourselves. I've been reading a book entitled Your Heart Was Made for This by Oren J. Sofer, in which he expounds on the power of the heart to meet a world in crisis. And he says, your heart was made for love, for connection, belonging, and meaningful relationship with other people, beings, and the earth. An important premise in his book is that whatever the mind frequently thinks upon and ponders, that will become its inclination. So where we place our mind's attention is where our personal character and habits of thought will gravitate, much like a rut in the road that grabs us. This is part of the concept of neuroplasticity, which basically means that our brains are malleable, both adults as well as youth, and we can change how we think and act throughout our lives with intention, purpose, and practice. Sofer further explains that if we do not shape the heart, the world will do it for us, and the world does not have our highest welfare in mind. With this in mind, one of my favorite meditation practices that I'd like to share with you is Tonglen. That's spelled Tonglen. The word Tonglen comes from the Tibetan language and translates as giving and taking. Tong means giving or sending, and Len means receiving or taking. Tonglen is similar to loving kindness, also known as Mettà, in that we are using the transformative power of the heart to channel compassion. We acknowledge the suffering of the world and its beings, and then visualize the suffering being transformed in the heart into compassion, and then we release it outward with intention on an out-breath for the betterment of the world. Heart-based meditation practices such as Tonglen and Mettà are healthy ways to channel compassion into the world and our own lives. Focusing on the breath going in and out of the heart center is where we start this transforming process. One of the most powerful daily mindfulness practices is to watch where we place our mental attention as we go about our day. Taking a break from scrolling on an electronic device to sit in meditation is a valuable activity that shifts our focus from the external world to our internal environment and helps us notice what our mind is doing. Noticing what we are thinking or ruminating about, and then redirecting our focus back to the body and the breath is a liberating way to change the way our brains control and create ruts of behavior. It is worthwhile to take time to contemplate conscious attention throughout the day as we go about our lives, as well as when we are sitting in meditation. This kind of attention is called heart-mind awareness. We're using both the heart and the mind in this case. Setting aside 5 to 10 minutes a day, let's say, to do a heart-mind meditation practice is a healthy way to nourish wise attention and encourage a shift in our mind's behavior. This month, I invite you to do a short Tonglen practice that can be offered for those who are ill, dying, or passed on, or people we know or don't know who are in pain of any kind. This can also be an on-the-fly practice in which we send compassion to people we encounter or think about throughout the day, offering heartfelt intentions of wellness and ease. The following practice is for families and groups. And please note that young children can be invited to draw during this practice, which allows them to use their creativity to channel compassion. Let's get started. Sitting in stillness with your eyes closed. Let's begin by breathing in and out, noticing where the breath is the clearest in the body, and then bring your attention to the heart center. Welcome feelings of kindness. This could be a golden light, an image of the Buddha or personal deity, or just an overall feeling of warmth. And you may also choose to place your hand on your heart if that helps to focus that energy. Let's now visualize a person suffering using the breath and sensations. Breathing in and out, welcome an awareness of you or someone else's suffering. Name the suffering. Sadness, grief, pain, etc. See the situation in your heart mind, just as it is. So closing our eyes, noticing and visualizing that being that is suffering, and labeling what that suffering is. Next, we will receive and take in their suffering. So focus on the situation by seeing an image of the suffering. Use the in-breath to receive the image, and with the out-breath, we transform it into something more positive. You may want to try using smoke that changes into white light, or you can see the person as being in pain and then visualize their face turning into a smile. As you do this, recite several times, "May this pain and suffering be released. May this pain and suffering be released." We can now expand compassion outward by extending it to all who are suffering. Using the same in and out breath process that I just described, let's visualize and welcome an awareness of a world that is suffering. There are many, many areas in our world where people are suffering on a daily basis. On each out-breath, offer the mantra to the world. May this pain and suffering be released. May this pain and suffering be released. And bring that visualization as well, that process of seeing the suffering and maybe noticing the transformation through the heart of possibly some dark smoke entering, wrapping around that suffering, and then on the out breath, noticing it and visualizing that white light now covers it and then lets it go into the world as transformed. As a conclusion of the practice, I invite us to sit in silence for several more breaths, enjoying the feeling of release and transformation. Conclude with a final recitation of the mantra. May all beings be well and live with ease. May this pain and suffering be released. And when ready, open your eyes slowly, shifting your attention to your own body and then to the space you're in by noticing the objects around you to bring you back to this present moment. Thank you for your practice. May all beings be well. Thank you for listening to Welcoming a Mindful Future, podcast by Mindful Frontiers, LLC. We are an education-oriented center that brings meditation and mindfulness into the daily lives of families, individuals, schools, and organizations by guiding present moment awareness practices and labyrinth walks that help relax body and mind. The business is supported financially by donations and fees that participants share for personal coaching and attending classes and workshops where they learn tools that benefit their daily lives. We believe that mindfulness is an important part of welcoming a positive future for ourselves, our communities, and our world. These podcasts are shared freely, and your support helps Mindful Frontiers reach a wider audience. Thank you for your generous donations through this podcast platform. You may also learn more about our various offerings at mindfulfrontiers.net.